funny, it is colorful, and it's a book that does not hold back. Artist Maria Qamar is well known for her daring pop art prints that have won the hearts of thousands on Instagram, as well as other art lovers, and she also has celebrities raving about her work. Well, now she's brought her art to the pages of her new book, Trust No Aunty, which paints a harsh yet hilarious reality of South Asian culture growing up in the Western world. Maria is our guest in studio this morning. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right, first of all, for anybody who's not familiar with the term auntie, explain to us what is an auntie.
An auntie is basically a term for any lady that's older than you.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it could be, a neighbor. It could be your actual auntie. Anybody who's kind of playing mom when mom's not around.
All right, why did you decide to put all your great art and humor into this book?
Well, I was approached to do this 2 years ago, so it was like a long process. But I think it's nice to have everything all compiled in one. I kind of treat it as my diary, which has all of my little embarrassing secrets and stories in there.
I love that you've collected them and put them in such a fun way. And part of what makes this book fun is that you, like a diary, put into it your interactions, cultural interactions that you've had as a South Asian woman growing up in a Western country. One of them that I love so much is what happens to brown people at work. Things that people say to brown people at work.
Ooh.
You also, it's funny, but it also highlights the fact that, everybody sometimes needs to just stop and think a little bit before they chat. You also talk a lot about the difference between cultural appropriation and appreciation. What is that distinction for you?
Well, to simply put, if you're invited to an Indian wedding, you can wear a sari. If it's Halloween, don't dress up as an Indian princess by wearing a sari. It's simple as that. It's a culture, not a costume kind of thing.
Not everybody has that same viewpoint, though. So if you have, somebody who is born Canadian, raised Canadian, and they show up at an Indian wedding, a white person dressed in a sari, some people that ruffles feathers sometimes.
I think if you're invited into a cultural setting and it's the appropriate garment to wear, I think it's respectful to do so. You would have to, it depends on who's inviting you and if the person's comfortable with it. It's really just a conversation that you need to have. But I think for sure, if it's Halloween and you go, I want to wear a sari because I want to be an Indian princess, definitely don't do that.
What I love about your art is it goes against some of the cultural norms that you've described. First of all, it's done by a woman. And secondly, it's bold and it's loud, not just in color, but in statement as well. Tell me about this form of expression for you.
I think it's just the way that a lot of us live. And it's kind of funny that it seemed as bold and loud because that's the lives of a lot of people that are around us. So, young Desi women are bold and they are loud. And, we're kind of at a point where we're kind of like, okay, let's just put ourselves out there and not really apologize for anything because there's a lot of things that try to keep us down, which is kind of, what Trust No Aunty talks about. Is like, there's a lot of negativity. There's a lot of stuff in the world that tries to keep you down saying, don't wear this, don't do that, don't date that person, don't say this. So, now we're kind of sick of it. Now we're like, okay, we're going to talk about what we want to talk about, and the world can kind of just deal with it.
Obviously, this draws on inspiration from aunties in your own life. Have you had any feedback from any of the aunties you've described?
I think we're all just learning how to grow together. It's obviously a generational gap. There's a tradition, cultural thing, There's always a battle between being true to our culture back home and then also being true to the culture that we've adopted here. It's a learning progress. I know that a lot of, my family members and things like that, they're supporting now. But there might also be some family members or there might be some people that don't agree with, a woman being in the arts or things like that. So,
of all of the aunties you describe in this book, which one you're young now, but which one do you think you'll end up being?
I would definitely, I see myself being more of the overfeeder auntie where I feel like everybody that comes into my house, I have to feed them a lot and keep feeding them until they kind of get sick of me. That's the auntie that I'm becoming. All
right, you've branched out into art. You've got this bold, colorful palette. You've gained celebrity attention, including from Mindy Kaling. Tell me about that connection.
Oh, that was insane. I think when I found out that she was a fan of my work, I screamed for an entire day.
Is this her house? Like, is that your print in her house?
That is on the set of the Mindy Project. So.
Oh yeah, I recognize the wall color.
Yeah, I was at dinner when she posted that, and I was just casually checking my Instagram, and I got tagged, and I see, and I'm like, is that Mindy with my work? What? And I had to drop everything and keep myself from crying that day. But.
That's a really big endorsement because a lot of the messages you talk about in this book are ones that she talks about publicly as well.
Yeah, it's a good parallel.
I want to ask you about this cover of Elle magazine that you posed for, in a very non-auntie approved outfit, I might add, with a T-shirt and thigh-high leather boots, and there you are with Lily Singh.
A lot of thighs showing there.
What did that mean to you to be on the cover of Elle?
You know what? Honestly, when it was happening, I didn't think anything of it. I was just excited to be with Wonder Girl and Superwoman. I was like, okay, you know, these are like girls that are obviously doing a lot of stuff, and these are like powerful women of color. And then when the cover came out, I was like, damn, this is actually really significant.
Yeah.
This is like one of the first covers that features the most amount of women of color on a magazine cover. And I'm right there, you know? So I think it still like hasn't hit me yet, but I understand the significance of it. It's really powerful.
Maria, I want to thank you for coming in today. We're proud that you are Canadian. Congratulations on all your success.
Thank you so much.
Just a reminder, the book is called Trust No Aunty.